Hello, friends. This is Paige. I am the host of the new podcast, The Human in All of Us, and I am so freaking glad to be here. And I'm laughing because it took me an hour to figure out my shenanigans with my mic, and I guarantee my audio and video are not going to be matching. So even if this is up on YouTube, I don't care. I don't care. I want there to be a visual for people too if they want it. So here's me figuring it out. I'm not a techie. I never wanted to be a techie, but here I am. Here I am, dedicated to just delightfully wanting to share wellness information in a way that is practical, a little bit funny, if not a lot of it funny, and easier to consume because I like to leave a bit of lightheartedness, even in the serious stuff. I'm a specialist in trauma. I am a clinical counselor located in British Columbia, and I love helping people get onto the other side of their shenanigans. It, we all need help on the struggle bus. It's really nice to have a passenger beside us on the struggle bus because sometimes just being able to voice and vocalize what's happening on your inner world and being able to sit in the yuck so that you can better experience the yum and learn how to experience the yum. Ah, babes, I love it. I frickin' love it. And I'm going to be very clear about this. This is episode 1, season 1. I don't know what the seasons are going to look like. I don't know what all the episodes are going to look like, but what I do know is that the whole purpose of this podcast is to create a space that is safe to learn and hear just like very genuine and authentic stories on my part and my journey, as well as eventually I will be bringing some guests in and helping understand better about other people's journeys through hardship and helping people feel more engaged with humor, humanity, and hope. And that is the goal. That is what I want to do. And as a person who's a clinical counselor, I have a background in psychiatric nursing, which, man, who I am now and how I treat mental health is just so night and day, completely night and day. Yeah, I was always trying to humanize everybody who I came in contact with, like throughout my entire career in the mental health world, nearly 2 freaking decades now. Like, what? It's, it's, it's actually really cool to be here and just kind of reflect upon all of that just for a second of how far I've come in that realm. Alongside that journey, I also was a stand-up comedian. I've been on stages all like basically since I was the age of 5, whether it was singing, poetry, public speaking. I was a wedding singer for a bit, karaoke hostess for a while. Uh, yeah, comedy fell into my lap when I moved to BC, and that was a rock star move. And then when I got into motivational and educational speaking, wow, whew, things took off, man. And I absolutely love being able to share wellness information with people. And I feel like a podcast is a great way to do that. And then also just be able to be as genuine and authentic about things as I can be. Because that's a lot of the feedback I receive from folks, that they appreciate that I show up very much as me. Oh man, like, eh, so funny because my inner critic loves to say to me sometimes, "Oh, you're so fake." And then people are saying, "Yeah, no, you're pretty much just you." And I'm like, "Dope." uh, so, anyways, yeah, this podcast is going to talk about trauma. This podcast is going to have swears in it. I'm not going to show my fully professional self because why the fuck would I want to? I'm not in a session. And also, I swear in sessions sometimes. Actually, I pretty much show up as myself in sessions too, but as the person who's holding space for others. And in this case, I'm holding space for myself and any guests that I have and the consideration of folks on the other end and the information that they're going to be receiving. So, trigger warning, I talk about trauma shenanigans. If at any time you do not want to listen to this podcast, just don't. And honest to Pete, I had one of my hesitations has been what will like how will my clients feel about me sharing parts of my story and my journey, and like full transparency, you don't have to listen to my story. Anybody, no one has to listen to my story, whether you have been a client, are a client, someone who's ever considered seeing me as a client. I just want you to know there are going to be parts of me that are going to be here in the open. And it's one of those things that like in professional boundaries and such, they talk about how much do we self-disclose in sessions. And what I'm having to remember here is this isn't a session, this isn't therapy, this is me processing my stuff and processing other people's stuff through a lens of compassion, a lens of deep, deep understanding and compassion, because I feel like we're missing a bunch of that right now. Like, I don't know about anybody else feeling the division that's existing in this world right now, but I feel it. I feel it. It is palpable. And I just want people to come together with love and light. And oh, yeah, that sounds wooey as heck, but I'm right. Oh, so welcome. Welcome to my attempt to make the world a brighter place, a happier place, a more joyous one to exist within. And even if that joyousness only comes from the fact that I want to decrease the stigma around mental health and depathologize, depathologize things a smidge, help folks feel more in an energy of I got this, because that's what we need. You don't need to be fixed. I didn't need fixed. Felt freaking broken, but I don't need to be fixed. Because here's the nitty gritty of it, pals. 2025 has been a fucking joke. And I say that with laughter and love because, like, holy, this year literally took a table and flipped it on me, being like, oh, hey, all of these insecurities that you've had, all of these ways that you've been trying to protect yourself from having to look at the things that are not working in your life. Yeah, we're going to actually show all of it to you. We're going to put you in a state of such burnout that you actually don't even know what way is up and down. And you have to do a reassess on all of your relationships, all of the things that you're doing with your life, and really sit with what do you actually want? Because what you're doing is unsustainable. God, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the table flip, but it did not come without so much resistance and hesitation from me. I got to this place of peace, kicking and screaming, man, kicking and screaming, and like my triggers are still triggers, and they're still coming up, but I'm feeling more able to navigate them again, and that's the journey. That's the journey, is recognizing and experiencing your triggers and then finding out ways on how you can manage them, not from a perspective of avoidance, but from a perspective of how can this not impact me the same way that it did before? How can this not feel as intense as it once did? And that is what is so important. Because for me, this, the past, it's nearly a year now. So November of 2024, I had this idea come up of having a podcast, creating a worldwide mental health platform and making it from a really sustainable place. And that's where I was so excited. I had just done 3 speaking events back to back to back. And they were incredible. I felt so alive. And yet it was only during those times when I was on stage and when I got off stage and felt like that excited adrenaline, because the rest of the time I was exhausted and feeling so burnt out and just really unsure what my next steps were going to be. So when I thought of embracing joys, holy shit, I was stoked, because I was like, great, maybe I could work a little less hard, create a space that feels safe, make it a little bit more community based versus having to manage and care for all of the things I was already doing. I had a group counseling practice. I was seeing clients one on one. I was doing public speaking. And I thought, how can I kind of merge this together a little bit, get enough resources through Embracing Joys that I could afford to pay for more back end help with my counseling practice? Because I love supporting counselors. Yeah, love that. All the admin related stuff, hate that. I'm neurospicy as heck. So if you think for a second that I had the organizational skills and the will to do that stuff, it was confusing, overwhelming, and uh, even just thinking about it, like I just feel that tightness coming up. So I thought I figured it out. I thought I thought I had the sauce. And then right after that, like I was just beaming with light and excitement. I had these plans on how to expand another chapter in a way that was going to be more sustainable as well. And I just felt so elated is the word. Like you can think happy, joyous, excited. Like I was vibrating with this is it. I think I figured it out. And I'm so excited because I'm going to help so many people. Looking back now, I just realized how ungrounded that energy was. There was urgency behind it. And in the beginning, it wasn't because it felt sustainable. The urgency energy started when I got accepted as a cast member on a documentary called Legacy Makers, which is coming out 2025. Do I know when? No. Um, but then it felt like go time. Then it felt like, oh no, shit, I have to hurry my shenanigans up, get this stuff rolling, speak with a lawyer, get it incorporated, get contracts drawn up, figure out the accounting side of things, make sure that I have it all set up and ready to go so that um, the plan was for March. I uh, took on too much again, which I've realized is a pattern, taking on way too much. Anyways, that's going to be a whole other episode of just there's going to be multiple episodes about this journey and different pieces of the journey and the lessons that I learned from them. Because there was a lot that happened in a really short period of time that I never even anticipated. Like almost immediately after getting accepted onto the documentary, um, I got really sick. My partner and I both got so ill. And the issue was I was still going. I felt this deadline, this looming deadline. And even though I was taking time to rest, I still was doing these meetings and trying to see clients. And I was doing some trauma training, which actually brought up a past trauma that I did not anticipate. And then I went traveling right after to go to a music festival with my partner and his mom. And there was a lot of tension happening at that time because we were still sick and really, really struggling. And that's when my mental health really started to take a turn. I was turned back from that. And then there was the deterioration of a relationship that was so incredibly important and meaningful to me that um, that still brings up emotion. Uh, wow. I'm just going to sit with that for a second and just allow it. Um, I did not anticipate a moment of sadness there, but it's there. Grief's a wild journey. And then some shifts happened in my business in another chapter. The income potential changed in an unexpected way. And I was already planning on taking 2 months off of work so that I could enhance the quality of my counseling practice to make it so that it was more sustainable for me and more sustainable for the contractors, plus filming and getting things sorted and ready for Embracing Joys. The things that happened in January hit me really hard, truly showing just how limited my capacity truly was. It was like it was as though I just hit this point where my body, mind, and soul said, we can't do this anymore. And I pushed I pushed myself in some ways. In other ways, I was like trying to recover, trying to hold space for my grief, trying to hold space for this re-traumatization that I had surfaced while going through like this crisis of, wow, I am putting a lot of money and time into this new project, and there's no, like, I'm really struggling to make ends meet. And every single step that I took toward creating Embracing Joys had some form of a hiccup happen. Could it be miscommunications? Could it be that my energy when it went like scared people away? Is it that I had too many ideas and it made it really hard for me to actually like contain and figure out exactly what a good step was going to be? I don't know. It's probably a combination of everything. But there was always some form of hiccup, and I didn't have the capacity to manage the hiccups. I had the capacity for everything to go right, which is literally laughable. Literally laughable. Like beginning of December, I was feeling elated. I was feeling ready. I was feeling this energy of let's go. When I got sick in December, that's when I should have listened. That's when I should have been like, hey, doesn't matter what timeline I got going on, I got to take care of me, because it was just a fast deterioration. When April rolled around, I had just been in Miami, um, doing the filming for the docu series at the end of March, and the level of anxiety that I had, it was panic. The panic I was experiencing was unbelievable. I don't know if my anxiety has ever been that level of bad. And I was in another country. I it I am shocked at actually how good the interview came out, because when I was there, I like the whole time I was like, holy crap, if my anxiety if I can't mask this, how is this going to come across on camera? And that's just wild. Wild to think that I was at a place and position that I was so unwell, and yet I was still trying to show up because I'd invested this time, energy, and money into something. And suddenly there was this timeline that I was trying to meet. So April rolled around, and I hit this point of a couple more unexpected shifts were potentially going to be happening with another chapter, and I cracked again. And I just hit this point of like, I can't I can't manage anybody because I can't even manage myself. And I wish I had known that wording at that time, because even though I was stepping away from being a group practice owner because of the amount that marketing was costing and just not enough clients coming in. I knew it was time. It had been a grind from right from the beginning, and I just knew it was time that I couldn't continue doing that. And I want to do an entire episode specifically around that because there's so many different pieces of that puzzle. And then May rolled around, and financially, like, it was absolute crisis. It was absolute crisis time when it came to finances because I'd invested so much money into this project, and um, I had to be bringing in an income because I wasn't seeing clients, and also things were going to be shifting with the practice, and I was scared. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been that fearful, and I've been through some pretty painful experiences in my life, but this was probably the scariest because I thought I was doing all of the right things. I thought I was living in alignment with my goals, which I was, but I wasn't doing it in a sustainable way. And not just my goals, it was my morals. It felt like my calling, and it is. I truly believe that I'm meant to be on this earth to help people, help helpers, especially, and bring reasonable expectations into the field of wellness for not just the clients, but for the people who are doing the helping too. And it was devastating. It was devastating. Just notice that there's just even like just this choked up energy happening because yeah, I don't actually think I've said out loud that was I was terrified. I didn't know what the next steps were going to look like. I didn't know if I was going to have to sell my house. I didn't know. But what I did know is that every single thing I was trying to do with Embracing Joys had some form of um, resistance happening. The only piece that didn't was how absolutely incredible the people I was asking to be part of it were. Like, people were asking, like, how can I help? What can I do? But like I said a bit earlier, I didn't even know how to be managing myself at that time. I was just in such chaos energy that I didn't even know what to communicate to people. I still don't. I'm still gaining this sense of self-management and this self-trust right now. And it's wild going from a place where you're trying to carry all of it on your own to then try to see how the load can be lightened and actually sustainable. So I'm so grateful for all of the people who reached out with love and support and attempted to help me in so many ways. So once I actually launched Embracing Joys has launched. It's launched May 1st. And I did a series of laughter related stuff throughout May, but I crashed so hard. And I was telling this to an acquaintance of mine who's a musician, and he said, "Oh, yeah, it sounds like what happens when you work your ass off on like an album, that once you've completed the album, like you just crash." And I thought about all the times where I knew of musicians who went on like these massive tours right after an album release and stuff, and just how much go, go, go energy that is. And I was like, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. I am shit. Fuck. I don't, I have been saying for years that that's not what I want. I've been saying for years, I don't want to be in this hustle energy. And I was literally doing it. I've been in hustle energy since 2019 when I started my master's in counseling psychology. Because like looking back on it now, I did not slow down. There were things that I did that were like, oh, I'm going to do less. But I was doing less of the things that brought me joy and comfort and socialization and fun. And because I was living in my purpose, I was living in my purpose. And I thought that was enough. Which looking back is a silly Billy Millie thing for me to think, but that's how it felt. I just felt like I was just living it. And that's what happens to us, right? We're just in it. We're going with it. And when we're in some form of survival mode energy, we are not checking in. Even like the stuff I was doing for healing work, whether it was breath work or um, like seeking supervision or it's, none of it was slowing me down. None of it was actually engaging me with changing patterns. I was logicking things, but nothing was actually changing. I wasn't changing anything because I was in this forward momentum energy. And I am so grateful for my crash. I am so grateful that I hit a point that just said no more. And so when June hit, I barely remember anything about that month. I saw clients. I, by the grace of whatever higher power exists out there, as soon as I said I'm no longer having a group practice, and I actually had to close it down sooner than I anticipated. Like I said, I'll do an entire episode specifically around this. Um, suddenly, suddenly I had referrals. And if I hadn't have had those referrals, uh, I would have been financially not okay. And then also loving support from my parents and like pulling from like a life insurance policy, like, yo, yo. I have a strength in helping people, but I am I was clearly not financially skilled at the time. Um, and I want to do an episode on that too, specifically around why my money mindset shifted years ago as well. Yeah, look at me thinking of different future episodes. And I literally had to just sit and exist in a lot of pain. My nervous system was so maxed that it was scary how little I had to give. Like it was bare bones basics time. And I sat in that for a month and a half of really painful stuff. Like May wasn't fun either, but June is when I really noticed how dark things were getting because the urgency of everything, like the emergency of financial stuff had shifted. And so then I could sit in just whatever grief, pain, embarrassment, icky, hard feelings. Um, because I didn't have to be in survival mode anymore. Um, I could slow down. And did I ever? Did I ever, man? I keep calling it my hermit area. Um, my counselor very kindly reminded me that I'm in my cocoon. I was in a cocoon era, and it's just now in September where I'm feeling more of a readiness to come out of that. And still, it's only if something like pops up that I can confidently want to say yes to. And that started a little in August, and now it's kind of coming to fruition now. And that's why I even feel comfortable doing the podcast right now and recording an episode, because I did record 3 episodes earlier this year. And I haven't been able to listen back to them because the pain that I was in was so palpable. Um, and the darkness and the clouded judgment of my darkness about myself. Oh man, not, it was no bueno, man. And one day maybe I will release those episodes and just let them be what they are. But as of right now, like I said, I can't even go and listen back to them. It would be right now it would be too painful for me. Um, to relive that is still too raw. And I'm so I am so genuinely proud of myself for coming out of what I was in. And even though um all that urgency energy of like, holy shiznit, like I need to get some income in here, even though that was shifting, like life still was given grief, was still given challenges to navigate and work through. And I made a tough decision. I think it was in July, or maybe it was beginning of August, where I just emailed my team from Embracing Joys and just said, yo guys, like I just need to put a full on pause. I can't even think about any of this until November at least. Um, and then if something comes up in the meantime, hi, look at me recording. Then I would, but without any urgency or any pressurization. Just if I felt called to do it, just do it. And that's what happened today while I was walking and listening to Amy Poehler's podcast. Holy shit, she's funny. I was like laugh out loud giggling on my walk. Like people probably thought I was losing my mind. Good. I was having a great time by myself listening to a podcast. So welcome. Welcome. It's been quite a ride to get here. And at first, I had every intention of having multiple guests, which will still happen. But I was listening to the Invisible Scars podcast, um, intro episode for season 3, and the the host was talking about how this season she was going to be doing a bit more of her own, um, like just herself, in the episode versus having as many guests, because she just didn't have the capacity and space to hold for other people. And I was like, yeah, yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I've been pausing, is because I have enough capacity to hold space for my clients, but I'm still building that capacity to hold space for friends, family, and other people. It's there, but it's very like there's not a lot that I have to give still. Like I am still very much in burnout recovery. Like it can take years sometimes. Don't let that scare you. Like I have gone through the darkness and I'm on the other side and I'm in a more sustainable place now. And I'm going to continue to find ways to sustain and and perfectly challenge myself. Not over challenge, not overburden, not overdo it, but perfectly challenge myself in newness and change. So, yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I'm proud of myself. I am proud of where I am today. And I'm still triggery. I still get irritated with some of the most ridiculous inconveniences. Don't get me started on answering emails I don't want to answer. And I'm not talking about client emails. I'm talking about business related admin emails that I hate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Errors and shiznit with whatever companies I have to be associated with as a business owner. See, all right, we're safe. Sorry. Uh, life is still lifing, man. It's still happening. And I'm seeing how my capacity is shifting and changing. I am way better at taking care of myself than I believe that I ever have been. I have been selfish, very selfish, because I needed to be. And people often think of selfishness as a bad thing, but I wasn't considering myself nearly enough. So, what other word is there? What other word is there for me to describe what this journey has been like for me of having to be mindful of my needs, having to be sitting in this dark pit of what the fuck is happening and how the F am I going to get out of this? What is next? And what I learned is that I can do way less and still be lovable, still deserve goodness, and that when you're spinning your wheels all of the time, you're not actually paying attention to if that spinning is actually moving you forward. Because it wasn't. New milestones, yeah, but it wasn't creating stability for me. It wasn't creating sustainability for me. The goalpost now has changed. They always talk about if you don't fill up your own cup, how are you supposed to fill up anybody else's? Oh, I, no problem. That was a default mode for me. No problem. Why I was in such a dark space and a dark headspace and why it was so incredibly difficult for me is because my brain said, nope, you are helping literally no one. You are doing literally nothing unless you were in your workspace and having one-on-one time with your clients. I disappeared off the radar for so many people. And it worked out. And throughout that whole journey, I kept asking myself, is this the right thing to do? No, I know that I need to be in part of community. I need to be part of a community. And if I am a part of a community, then I'll be okay, right? I'll be able to be okay. So like I was doing this and this and this and trying to like trying to do the right thing. Doing what my counselor brain knew was the right thing. Nah, man. I was even in fight or flight energy trying to get out of fight or flight. And if I wasn't in fight or flight, I was frozen, baby. I was in full on collapse. So I have learned differently. My patterns are changing. And I, as a person, am changing. And this is why the podcast is called The Human in All of Us, because I believe that we can be these incredible, divine, higher self actualized humans, pockets. We can be these beings with this beautiful, incredible energy. And I can also experience very human emotions, sensations, interactions, and experiences. Did I already say experiences? Maybe, and I don't give a shit. Because part of being human is that we have laughter, humor, the ability to make it through with a little bit of lightness. Humanity, there's a collective experience among all of us that we can experience pain and we can experience the other side of it. We can experience post traumatic growth. We can get to that space where we can trust in certain people and their morals and their integrity. And then, so importantly, hope. We can feel an experience of hope, not necessarily of how things are going to work out, but that we are hopeful that we can make it through no matter what it is. So, again, welcome. Welcome to the Human in All of Us podcast. I'm your host, Paige Mathison, clinical counselor, ex-psych nurse, bit of a comedian, public speaker. You give me the fun of it. And I'm here to help you feel a little bit more of I got this energy. I hope this episode resonates with you and that you will come back for the second one. Please follow me on Instagram at embracingjoys.ca, as well as anywhere on you're actually listening to this podcast. So please subscribe to wherever that is. I'm going to have a better outro one of these days. But anyways, again, I love you. Thanks for listening. Happy healing.